What did the framers intend? It's August 5th, 2026. Welcome to yes2hellwith.com. This is part 5 in a series on the courts, the Constitution, and remedies. In our previous discussions, we examined an important question. If a citizen raises a constitutional objection during an administrative proceeding, but no one within that proceeding has the authority to decide the issue, and the citizen must spend years and enormous resources pursuing a solution before the constitutional question is finally considered, has the Constitution remained a practical protection? Today we ask a different question. Did the framers intend this constitutional system to operate this way? The evidence strongly suggests that they did not. The framers did not draft a constitution so government could act first and constitutional limits could be examined years later. They drafted a constitution to establish government and at the same time to restrain it. Those limitations were intended to guide the exercise of public authority from the moment authority was exercised, not after the injury had already occurred. The framers understood something that every generation must remember. Power naturally expands unless it is restrained. That understanding shaped the entire structure of the American Republic. It explains why government power was divided, why authority was delegated, why public offices were limited, why every public official was required to swear an oath to support and defend the Constitution. The Constitution was never intended to become relevant only after government had already acted. Let's be candid. The Constitution was created to limit government and its authority. It was intended to govern government while it acted. That distinction is fundamental. If constitutional limitations operate only after years of litigation, then they no longer function as practical restraints upon power. They become remedies sought after the injury rather than protections preventing the injury. That is not the structure the founders and framers designed. But there is an even deeper lesson. The Constitution by itself preserves nothing. The Constitution is simply words on paper. Its principles become reality only when they are understood and faithfully applied by the people entrusted with public authority and by the citizens who elect them. A free republic cannot survive if its people no longer understand the purpose of limited government, if they no longer recognize the difference between delegated authority and unlimited authority, if they no longer understand why constitutional boundaries exist in the first place, then the structure of the republic gradually begins to invert. Instead of government remaining limited and the people remaining free, the people gradually become limited and, think about this, the government gradually becomes free to do what the hell it wants, when it wants, how it wants. That inversion rarely happens through revolution. It happens through neglect, forgetfulness, idleness, apathy, ignorance. One generation forgets the principles. The next generation accepts expanded authority as normal. What a tragedy. The next generation no longer remembers that anything has changed. They don't know what freedom is. They don't know what constitutional constraints are. Eventually, the Constitution remains. The institutions remain. The elections remain. The courts remain. Yet the relationship between the people and public authority no longer resembles the republic that the framers established. This is why constitutional education is not merely an academic exercise. It is a civic necessity. A free country requires more than good laws. It requires knowledgeable citizens, It requires wise public officials. It requires a people who understand not only what government may do, but what it may never do. Without that understanding, no written constitution can preserve freedom. The preservation of the republic has always depended upon an informed and vigilant people who understand the limits of power and insist that those limits be honored. That is the conversation we must continue. It is an imperative. And as always, may truth reign supreme.